All right, Sean McDermott, this is the game. This is your chance. This is your chance to implement the kind of offense that you've been trying to implement all season long, and it hasn't been working, right? This is the time to have that balanced offensive scheme, a run game that can set up the pass game. We relied too much on the pass game, didn't really work out so much. We relied too much on the run game, didn't work out so much. This is the game where you kind of try and have to audition that kind of playoff caliber team that we hopefully will see in the playoffs. Let's get right into it.
And now the Bills are on the rise again.
It is pandemonium. It is fantastic.
Alrighty, folks, welcome back to another episode of Good Neighbors Sports. As always, I'm your host, Austin Hinton, and if you're new here, we talk Buffalo Bills football. So if you like that kind of thing, leave a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel. It's free. It's fun to do. It makes the Bills a better team. It's science. Anyways, let's get right into it. So before we get into this Carolina-Buffalo Bills home matchup in Week 15, let's talk a little bit about the Tampa game. Just a little bit. We all know what happened. We kind of are trying to block it out of our brains, but I was down in Tampa from the 9th to the 16th, so that's why there was a big stretch of time without any videos. But the Buffalo Bills went down to Tampa, and they did their best. The first half was just every nightmare that we have been seeing throughout the season. The second half was the kind of team that we were used to last year. Unfortunately, not only were we playing the Bucs and Tom Brady, but we were playing the refs. And, well, that's just what happens when the Buffalo Bills play Tom Brady. Happens all the time. There's some staggering stats out there that shows that the Buffalo Bills don't get calls their way, and the opposite is true for our opponents. It's kind of ridiculous, but I hate to be that fan that blames the refs and whatnot, so I'm going to chalk it up to the Bills not putting themselves in position to win it themselves. They put themselves in a position to allow the refs to change the tide of the game, and that's what happens. Anyways, let's move on from Tampa Bay. It wasn't the most significant loss ever, but the fact that we should have had it is a little upsetting. But on to Carolina. So the 5-8 Carolina Panthers are visiting the 7-6 Buffalo Bills. The Bills, I believe at the time of recording, are 10-point favorites to win, the over-under being 43.5 points total. It's going to be at Highmark Stadium. It's going to be cloudy, 30 degrees, not so much wind, maybe 10, 11 miles per hour, maybe a small chance of precipitation, unusual to the home games we've been seeing this whole season. I mean, I don't know, 3 or 4 of them have been downpour or snow and wind and just horrible. But hey, this one should be a relatively good one. Now, it goes without saying this is a must-win game for the Bills. If we lose this one, then our playoff chances are tanked. They're not completely eradicated, but you might as well just chalk it up as such because the morale of this team might as well be 12 feet underground. Good news is Josh appears to be healthy. He was wearing a boot after the Tampa Bay game with a minor ankle injury, but I think he's all set. He looked good running around in practice. But also, unfortunately, we will be without Dion Dawkins. He hasn't had a most stellar season so far because he had COVID previously, and maybe that was kind of taking a huge chunk out of his playability, and now he's got COVID again, so I don't know what going forward he's going to look like, but not a great looking offensive line in the first place, but now it's just gotten a little bit worse depth-wise. Taking a look at this matchup, you got two sides of the ball, one being a very fair matchup, very competitive matchup, and the other one being lopsided, all on paper. When the Buffalo Bills are on offense and the Panthers are on defense, expect a great show because the Panthers' defense is phenomenal and they match up great against our offense. The Bills' passing offense is ranked 8th, while the Panthers' passing defense is ranked number 1. We're going to have to air it out against them for sure, but they're going to give us some troubles doing so. The Bills' rushing offense is 15th ranked, while the Panthers' rushing defense is 19th ranked. So you see these matchups being very, very similar, and this is what I'm going to get into in regards to what I said in the intro. This is where McDermott is going to have to implement the kind of offense that he's been wanting to all season, that he's tried to do all season to no avail. This is the time. Overall, the Buffalo Bills offense is ranked 8th in total yards, whereas the Panthers defense is ranked 2nd in total yards allowed. So it's going to be a fun matchup when the Bills are on the field and the Panthers are on defense. But like I said, it's a great matchup. The run game is going to be matched with a decent run defense, and the awesome pass offense is going to be matched with an awesome pass defense. It's going to be tough for our offense to get rolling, potentially, but where the other side of the ball lands The Panthers offense versus the Bills defense is a huge mismatch in my opinion. The Panthers passing offense is ranked 26th in the league, and the Bills passing defense is ranked 2nd in the league. So they should not be able to pass all over us. I know DJ Moore is questionable to return. He's got a hamstring injury. Other than that, there's Robbie Anderson, who hasn't been doing so much all season, but he's definitely a threat, and he's fast, and he can get downfield. And those chunk plays we've been giving up all season, that's what they're going to be looking for this game. The Panthers rushing offense is ranked 19th, whereas the Bills rushing defense is ranked 12th. Kind of an even matchup right there, so maybe they'll try and run on us. They probably will with Chuba Hubbard. He's been doing all right. Unfortunately for them, Christian McCaffrey is out again. Going forward, Panthers offense total yards is ranked 27th, whereas the Bills defense total yards allowed is ranked 1st. So, like I said, when the Panthers offense is on the field and the Bills defense is on the field, huge mismatch. On the flip side, Bills offense is on the field, Panthers defense is on the field. It should be a fun battle to watch. In recent news, the Panthers had just lost to the Falcons, who are a bad team, and we have them coming up pretty soon in our schedule, actually, I think right after the New England game. And the Bills just lost to the Bucs. Now, they're the reigning Super Bowl champions, defending champions. They're even better than last year, in my opinion, and we were playing the refs, and we barely lost. So it went to overtime. I think our loss is a bit more impressive than their loss, and I believe Cam Newton was benched a couple times for PJ Walker. I think Cam Newton had a couple turnovers, and that was enough to do it in. I don't know what the Panthers coach is doing. I know that Cam Newton's not the answer. I'd rather have PJ Walker out there, but he's flip-flopping, doesn't know where his quarterback's going to come from. It's kind of a problematic offense. Sam Darnold wasn't doing so hot. He's out of there. But like I said, Robbie Anderson and DJ Moore are good. If DJ Moore's out there, then expect Levi Wallace and or Dane Jackson to be covering him because, well, Dane Jackson did very well against the Bucs. I will say one good takeaway, Dane Jackson filled in nicely for Trey White. But again, Chuba Hubbard can do a lot of damage to us if we let up those chunk plays that we allowed for Derrick Henry, that we allowed to the New England running backs, to Jonathan Taylor. These kind of guys getting chunk plays is just the name of the game going against Buffalo, unfortunately, this season. So here's the game plan. McDermott, listen up. I doubt you're listening. I know for a fact you're not. But now is the time to experiment with that offense, okay? Try and get a run game going. I know I've been saying not to do that all season because it just hasn't been working, and it's just a pipe dream at this point. But against the Panthers defense, I think we got a chance to establish a run game, which will make Josh Allen's job a whole lot easier. Our matchup, like I said, again, I'll say it many times, against the Panthers defense is going to be pretty good. Most notably, the defense has to just get off the field fast, okay? If the defense is on the field a lot, that means our offense isn't out there getting points. That's the name of the game. Obviously, we got to score more than they can. The Bills lose if we beat ourselves. It's been the case all season long. The Bills are just beating themselves, and it's frustrating to see because last season it was going the complete opposite way. This season, the Buffalo Bills are 0-5 in games where it's a one-score game. The complete opposite was true last season. Now, I believe 3 of those games should have definitely gone our way from one reason or another. So that would put the Bills at, 10-3? And the script is completely different for the Buffalo Bills. They're dynamic, powerful offense and defense, a dangerous force in the AFC, but we're sitting at 7-6, unfortunately, and almost looking in from the outside on the playoff perspective. I think this year the Buffalo Bills are a whole lot better team with a whole lot less luck, and it seems like the players are just not having as much fun as they did last season, which I think the Bills having fun means the Bills are scoring big, and the sidelines look a little somber throughout this season, and it's just the script is flipped from last season. We were winning those close games, and now we're not. That bill has come in already. Although one silver lining I can take away from just these close one-score games is our record is now 7-6, and we're looking at the Bills like they're a struggling team. Whereas the same exact team in another universe could be 10-3 right now, no problem, and then we're thinking, this is the team, perfect, no changes necessary. No, now we're 7-6. We know what our weaknesses are, and we should be able to effectively address them in the offseason going forward, maybe in the playoffs. Who knows? I think it's a good thing. If we can squeak into the playoffs, we can do damage. But unfortunately, our season is a little bit on life support right now, especially if we lose to the Panthers tomorrow. Win out and we're in. I believe this team can do it. We got to take it 1 week at a time. I'm kind of nervous about this New England matchup next week, but that's next week. Hopefully our Bills can stay healthy, stay away from COVID. I know a lot of teams are getting decimated by that, and I don't want that to be the fate of the Buffalo Bills going forward. I know a lot of fantasy playoff implications are struggling with all this COVID stuff. It's scary, but I think last year was a little bit more tumultuous, a little bit more turbulent. I don't know if I used the word tumultuous correctly there, but forget about it. I still have high confidence in this Buffalo Bills team, and I think the second half of that Buccaneers game showed it. Unfortunately, we couldn't get the win there, but I still think it was a moral victory if you can even take one in the NFL. I know they say there's no moral victories, but man, Josh Allen played his heart out, and if he doesn't get MVP again this year, he's always our MVP. He's the most valuable player. Any team would rather have him as their quarterback, in my opinion. I don't think any other team would choose the one they have right now. And maybe that's a hot take. Maybe that's a cold take. Who knows? But yeah, the Buffalo Bills have an opportunity to right their ship and get things rolling again. And this is the kind of momentum builder that we're in desperate need of right now. So hopefully we're looking at a much more positive week next week after a Sunday win. Hopefully, fingers crossed. I'm putting this prediction at, I think the Buffalo Bills are going to cover the spread of 10-point favorites. I say the Bills win 27-13. That's my prediction. We'll see how it goes, but that's all I got for you guys today. This has been another episode of Good Neighbor Sports. As always, be good to your neighbors and go Bills.